Hi, folk. This is another episode of Narcissists in the Church. I mean, everyone is talking about narcissists, so I will take this little niche, narcissists in my church, which keeps Sabbatarian narcissists, as told from my experience. Ooh. Okay, but seriously, narcissists do not like you to be happy unless you're happy for them. They don't want you to relax unless you're relaxing because of them. If you start feeling like you're feeling guilty if they walk into the room and you're just relaxing for a change, run away. I know many people live together before they get married. That's your sign to not say yes. It's one of many signs to not say yes. They don't have empathy, so they don't really feel sorry for you when you're in pain, when you're suffering. And they don't like to be happy for you when you're happy. Your wins are not their wins. They don't ever celebrate you because they don't want to celebrate you. They only want themselves to be celebrated. So if they mention you, it will be because they gain something. So my husband tells me, I told so and they're like, wow, about the family. Wow, you adopted. That's what stands out. You're an amazing man for having adopted, not, wow, how does your wife handle all these children on her own? And that's why he hates it. I'm going through many things because they just come into my mind. That's why he hates it when people feel sorry for me. There's a man from church, Mr. Chowne. I will say his name because I love those people. I love them, him and his wife. And there was a time I went to church and I cried because I miss church, but sitting hurts. Driving there hurts. It's too far for me. If I lived close by, I would be there, but I can't get there. It's too far. And then I have to sit after having sat and driven. And I drive with my right leg, and my right leg is the worst one. It's fusing faster. So the joint, for my side joint, move your leg down and up. Yeah. So my husband then said later he went to the church again and the guy asked him how I am. Now, guys, note, I've got ankylosing spondylitis. It is active ankylosing spondylitis. Look for the worst cases. The Indian people, especially, they're the ones with the least health care for it. They're the ones who don't have medication to slow it down. There's no cure. It's incurable. It's progressive. It gets worse. You suffer every single day of your life. And I started suffering when I was a child around 6, 7, that's when my leg pain became excruciating. And the doctors just said, it's what's it called? Growing pains. Uh-oh. By the time I was a teenager, I had full-blown juvenile arthritis. That was the diagnosis. I've been suffering my whole life. I shouldn't have married a narcissist. So I suffered my whole life. And now you come along and they don't care. They have no empathy for that. But Mr. Chauane did. He and his wife are loving, caring people. And so he asked my husband, how is she doing? How is she handling life? I had told the church about my lungs. See what I mean? This is my life, my friends. Even on weekends, I'm single anyway. So might as well get the divorce, which I filed for yesterday. Next video. Rati. Hey, my angel. I love you. I love you. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Ugh. When I got back, I forgot what I had been talking about. So I said about this man that he'd asked my husband how I am feeling. And my husband said, he came back and he said, really? He acted like, like you're going to break, like she's so fragile. I was like, sick, please, she's just sick. That, firstly, how do you mock someone who's caring and worried about your wife? If you loved her, you'd be thankful someone else worries about her. But the attention was then on me, not on him. Strike one. Number two, if he really knew my symptoms, if he really listened to what I tell him, and if he'd listened to what the rheumatologist said, he would know that actually I'm fragile, like he mocked. I'm fragile. I need rest. You guys know that. But he doesn't matter to him. That's a narcissist. All attention, any empathy must go to them alone. If it's to you, they hate you. And the sicker you are, the more they hate you. So every time he comes back and he says, so and so said, asked me how you're doing. So and so asked how you're doing. And I bet you it's really irritating. I didn't realize that must be really irritating. I know I said to him, you said, yes, I can cook, but did you tell them that I cook and then after 5 minutes I cannot stand any longer? Did you tell them I start in the morning, but I can only finish the entire meal at around 9 p.m. because I have to take so many breaks and I'm also cooking, teaching? Did you tell them how hard it is for me to cook? Or did you just say, yeah, she still cooks? Oh, man. Singleness is so much better than this. Living with someone who hates you, that's hell. Again, they don't want to see you happy and they don't feel sad when you're broken and hurting. At the time, he used to say, oh, shame, look at your fingers, they're sausage fingers. I didn't really realize he was making fun of them. Because he noticed them, he was already a step ahead of my mother. I mentioned before that when I was sick at school, I would rather stay in the school sick room with like all of us piled onto this one single bed than go home because my mother she didn't have a maternal shame, you're sick, my child bone in her body, for me at least. So I'd rather be lonely at school than go all the way. And you have to walk to the taxi rank, which was about 30 minutes away. When you're sick, and then you have to walk first to go and wait at the bus station, bus shelter. Yeah. Anyway, they don't care that you're sick. They might mention it. Do not mistake them mentioning it with caring. Please, please, I need you to really analyze how they respond to your suffering, all right? Here was a big red flag. I told you this. I'm putting this together with this relaxation and joy one for another chance at you hopefully getting it and protecting yourselves. I was walking with my friend and him, coming from church one evening, Friday evening. It had been raining and we're walking along, and then I slipped on cement and I fell down backwards, like cement slabs, like those ones that are, yeah, it's not flat. And I fell backwards. My friend, Tandy, are you okay? Tandy, are you okay? She's Ugandan, so she doesn't know how to say Tandy. Tandy, are you okay? And he was telling me, get up, you're embarrassing me. I should have run away. A man who loves you will never feel embarrassed when by a mistake, it's not like I was drunk, I don't drink. It's not like I was drunk and been acting weird. I was walking, laughing, talking, and then I fell hard backwards. A man who loves you will never, ever say such awful words. And he was an elder already at the time when I met him. A church elder who loves God will never say, get up, you're embarrassing me. Hurry up, get up. Never. That was a big red flag. But as you know, my past and how I was raised, not even raised, as I told you, the day before, 2 weeks before my mother died, was the last time I saw her. I was 42 years old. And 2 weeks later, we got the news she's dead. I went to the house, obviously because my dad is there, my sister is there, we have to start planning the funeral, blah, blah. And as we got out of the car, the first thing I did, take my jacket and try and zip it up, because after all, the last thing my mother said to me was, I'm fat, so now I have to hide the fat. And I take a few steps and I'm thinking, she's dead. I don't need to hide my fat anymore. So that is what I grew up with and heard all my life. That does not prepare you to be aware and alert to continued conditional love of a sort. They will feed you, like he provides food, but they don't love you. They do not love you. Please keep that in your head. Kindness does not mean love, or acts that seem kind does not mean they love you. If the devil in heaven could attract a whole third of the angels, imagine his servant on earth. We don't even have the discernment that angels had. We're in trouble. So listen to that red flag carefully and run away. So he doesn't care when you hurt. That's why now, years later, I see these videos and it's so true. I didn't even realize I was dealing with it. They make you so tense, so alert, so I need to be working. I need to be working. To prove my worth, I need to be working. I can never rest. I can never relax, because then I'm being worthless. My relaxation is proving my worthlessness to the one I love. So when he comes in, now, as you know, I'm a mother, and I'm a very dedicated mother. I'm a homeschooling mother. I'm the entire school system. I choose the curricula. I am the teacher. I plan. I make up the exams. I make up the lessons. I make up the lesson plans. I make up the resources if a child is struggling with ABC. I'm absorbed, consumed by work. If I'm not actively teaching, actively marking tests, I'm creating tests. I'm creating videos for my children because of their particular type of autism and PDA. I have to record. Can you imagine that? I'm sitting here right now. Now try to feel that bone in your own body. And imagine now when you're sitting, you're putting pressure on it. When you're sitting, your other leg is now bent, so that joint moves for your leg to bend. And when you're sitting on it, now you're putting pressure on it. And you've got bone marrow edema, which means your bone marrow is swollen. But I'm sitting here and I sit for my children's videos. I sit for the Afrikaans videos. I sit for all their videos, creating Bible, everything. So that at least if I'm not there for them to talk to or to pull, they will remember the lesson. That is my life. Nobody gets it. Nobody in this house gets it. Except my son. No adult except my son. So you are working. That's your life. Your life is work. Your life is work. But when they come in, when you're finally taking a breather, everyone deserves rest. They rest. Have you noticed that? They rest. And we don't ever make them feel guilty, even when they're resting, when they should be parenting. We don't ever make them feel guilty. Well, I don't. They rest, but you are not allowed to rest when they are there. As I've just told you, sitting is painful. So I lie down on my side and I type the lessons, I edit the videos. Like a 7-minute video takes me an hour and a half to edit. 7 minutes, an hour and a half to edit. It's a lot of work for a short time. So I'm very busy, except when I'm relaxing. So I will be lying down and texting my friend, asking her how her day was. And then when he comes in, I pick up my laptop and I'm back again, editing. Because otherwise, he will look down on me. My worth is only seen in how much I act, how much I do. Their mother raised them to feel that they were king. Kings have servants, not friends. Kings have slaves. Kings are above everyone else. That's how they were raised. And so you are their servant. You're not their queen. As my husband used to tell me point blank, his queen is his mother. Again, run away. My goodness, I was so blind. Why try and become the queen of the heart of someone who's already told you point blank to your face, she's the queen? What a waste of a life. Anyway, and if that's the queen, you, wife, are just going to be one of the many concubines. You're not the equal, so you have to prove yourself. Like a domestic worker? Not mine. Mine, I always tell her, relax, rest, please rest. If it's cold, I even tell her, get a blanket and get warm. She laughs at me, but I want people to relax. I don't want them to feel like they have to be. And the reason why is because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm watched and I dare rest. I'm doing something wrong. I'm sinning against him. I'm not proving my value. That's the kind of abuse we live with, which we cannot not enumerate, which we cannot verbalize, we cannot describe it, we cannot just give it one name, a label. We can't say he beats me, but he beats you. So he made a comment just to prove this thought. He had said he's going to move the sofa every Sundays. It's a big, hard sofa, heavy, and our helper was breaking it because it's heavy. So she was breaking it when she would clean. So I told her after discussing with him, just leave it, don't worry. It's, my husband and my son will lift it up on Sundays and sweep underneath it. I've never seen my husband do it. 0 times. Never. And it's not like I stay in my room on Sundays. I can't. I've got precious babies. I don't stay in my room on Sunday. I'm out there making their breakfast, but no one else will. I'm out there making their lunch because no one else does. I'm out there making their drinks because no one else does. Even when the other is there, I still do it no matter how sick I am. So I see a lot that happens on Sundays. I'd never seen that sofa being moved. And I made a comment about the dirt under the sofa because it hadn't been moved for a while. Something like that, something innocuous. And it's like, yeah, you wouldn't know because you sit here all the time. But you see, I'm doing things while you're just lying there. Even if I was healthy, girls who are healthy, this is also for you. There's no competition in my world. We're all suffering. You deserve to rest. You've been working all day. And if you're a mother of young children or a mother of neurodivergent children who will never grow up, if your life is filled with this every single day, no break, you know the value of rest. We know the value of rest. Scientists know the value of rest. God knows the value of rest. And if God knows you cannot rest on a Sabbath, He allows you, He wants you to rest on any other day. Anyone who doesn't want you to rest hates you and loves themselves alone. So that comment, I thought, excuse me? You're just lying there like I don't deserve to lie down for a change. Secondly, I'm sick. There's a reason I'm lying down. I can't sit. I can't stand for long. There's a reason I'm lying down. And what have I been doing in between the lying down? And what am I doing as I'm lying down? He's walking in saying that. And I've got my laptop open, working while lying down. That session of lying down wasn't even restful. They hate seeing you relaxed. They hate seeing you happy. Last point. So all those sermons, mothers shouldn't, what's the word? Mothers shouldn't, I've forgotten the phrase now, when you give your work to someone else, outsource their parenting to other people. They should be teaching the children. But then clearly he doesn't value teachers because he looks down on the work that a teacher does, even in a school where they're not necessarily choosing the syllabus, they don't decide the work hours, and they have the holidays. Those teachers deserve respect. That's work. And us teaching at home is work. We're educating our children. We're getting them into university. That's work, wouldn't you say? But they don't value your contribution. So then you've got a problem. Whatever you do is not valued, is not seen at all. Unless you're praising them, then they'll see that. They'll pick that up. But anything you do, especially for his children, they don't see. They just see you acting for the competition. Because in their life, their whole life is a competition. Someone has to be a winner, and it always has to be him. I'm saying him because most narcissists are men, but it's not only men. And I'm married to a man, not a woman, so I'll speak about that. And they don't want you to be relaxed. They don't see your work. So no matter how much you work and you sweep the floor, they don't even see you sweeping the floor. They're not thinking, my wife, you've just been washing the dishes. Or they're not saying, my wife, you've just put laundry away. Just rest. They don't see you unless you're doing something they don't want you to do. Then they see you. Another prime example I've given before of my work educating his children is the fact that he would come in at 8 o'clock on the dot, turn the lights off while I'm preparing their schoolwork, while I'm preparing for their A levels and before that O level exams. I'm busy marking our children's schoolwork, and what does he do? Turn the light off while I'm busy marking. Come in, light goes off exactly on the dot as he walks in. Why? It's 8 o'clock. I need to sleep. I'm getting up early in the morning to go running. Now you see why I hate the whole running obsession, because it is his idol. The wife doesn't matter. My running matters. And therefore, everyone needs to move according to my schedule. And my schedule is I'm a grown man, but I must go to sleep like a baby at 8 o'clock. And so must everyone else, including my wife, working on our children's future. That is how invisible the wife becomes when they're married to a narcissist. Why would I want to stay with someone like that? Adultery, unfortunately, has helped me. I've got a very good biblical reason to not only separate, but divorce. And I'm grabbing that with both hands. I will never, ever, ever again put myself second to someone who doesn't put God first. If you feel under threat, if your peace is shattered as soon as he walks in the door or through the door, as soon as you feel relaxed when he's away and tense when he's back, run away. If he makes it very clear he's not worried about you when you're hurt, run away. If you have to teach someone how to love you and they don't have any special needs, there's a problem. They will never love you. If you have to beg someone multiple times over the years to go to counseling, to go to have an assessment, to have therapy, and they don't want to do it, they don't love you. Someone who loves you will do the hard work to show you how much they value you and don't want to lose you. If he doesn't do it, it's because he knows, and whatever, I'll just go find some cheap woman, the one who doesn't care about her children, just like I don't care about mine. And I mean that. Someone who refuses to take the child to the hospital does not care. It's a show of caring, but it's not real. So friends, folk, you will end up, if you're like me and you find out that they've cheated and you're a Christian, and for you the only biblical reason is the biblical reason of adultery, you will end up divorced eventually. 5 years, 10 years, unless he allows God to shine in him and makes him humble and willing to learn. Because I was willing to go, both of us. I wanted us both to go. If there was really something I was doing wrong, I wanted to know so I can change it. I mean, I used to actually ask him, is there anything you need me to do that will make your life as a husband happier? There was a time I should live to please him more than I lived to please God. I lived for him more than I lived for my values and the principles I believed, which happened to be the principles he was preaching. That's another story. But yes, if you find yourself not able to relax in their presence, feeling guilty for resting, feeling sad or bad that you, or him making you feel bad if you've been happy, if he doesn't want to know about what matters to you, he doesn't love you. And the last point was when Jocelyn Smith went missing. I said to him the first day, and people look deeper, I'm really worried about this child. Now, this is a man who has adopted children. He has biological children, and he also adopted. You would assume, therefore, that all children matter. I mean, they matter to non-adoptive parents. So you would assume that it's quite a sad, worrying case. If he tells you about Brian did this at work, why shouldn't he hear you? If he doesn't want to hear you, he doesn't love you. So I said, I don't believe this story. The mother eventually went to trial together with her boyfriend and another friend of theirs, and they're in prison right now. But at the time, it was the first day of this child's going missing. And I said, I don't get this. Why would a mother leave her little girl with a boyfriend? Not the child's father, but a random boyfriend. She's 6 years old. The child is sick and she's left her alone with him. No offense. I know most of you are actually good guys. Most men of dads of girls are brilliant men, but not all. Just like not all dads are brilliant men either. And it didn't sound right. And then they didn't actually report her missing for hours, but they realized in the afternoon that she's not there. This man who was meant to be taking care of her in the house, didn't notice she had been gone for like 3 hours. I think he'd last seen her at 1 o'clock, and then he only noticed at 6 p.m., something like that she's missing. Huh? And I know they don't live in a palace. I've seen their little shack. They did not live in a palace. How could he miss that she's not there? What was he doing, if he was doing anything? Eventually, they went to trial for abduction and blah, blah, blah. But my point was, this was something that was close to my heart. I love children. As you know, I genuinely love children. I don't want children to suffer. And I knew that the mother and the boyfriend, I just knew it had something to do with this child's going missing. I just wondered, is she alive? Is she dead? Guys, I told you, I've gone to help look for a missing dementia lady here in the neighborhood. So a little girl missing? My heart is, yeah, I know the area, Saldanha. I've been there up and down to Saldanha. It's not some faraway country. And it's like, I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. Before I even finished my recitation of the article and my concerns about this poor missing girl, I'm not interested in that. I don't know why you read such news anyway. Okay, then. There goes our conversation. If he decides the topic of the conversation, he doesn't love you. He doesn't want to hear you except for you to agree with him about his topic of conversation. And then the very next day, while I'm still smarting that my husband would say he's not interested in what I have to say. He's not thinking like the rest of the country did. Where is Jocelyn? The country will never forget Jocelyn. We want her back. For him to say as a Christian, that is not interested, that is evil. And then the very next day, he sends me a 35-page article about himself. And he wanted me to read it. He even asked, did you read this 35 pages about me from his workplace? He asked me this during the school day. Some things can never be fixed. A broken head, a broken mind can never be fixed. We cannot love them into being good and kind. It's just impossible. Only God can do it if they allow him to. But unfortunately, their God is not God. And that God, their idol, their queen, does not want you to be loved. Be careful, guys, if you don't feel relaxed when they're around. And find someone who will join you in your relaxation or even offer to give you your food. Have you eaten? There are people like that. I was one of them. I am still one of them. You can ask my children. See ya, I've got a child at the door. I told you I can't rest. Yes, Abby. Before I really do end this, there's one problem, you see. The problem is this: they love bomb you. In the beginning, their chief aim is to charm you like they charm other people. But now they need to charm you into their arms, into their bed. So they will charm you kind of differently to the way they charm all other people. But that's their whole life is built on charming, not on engaging, not on relating, charming. So you become their target. They will love bomb you. They will do extreme things. They will tell you very fast that they love you. They will pressure you into intercourse when you're not ready or when you don't want to at all. They will do these huge, grandiose things like calling a huge party, big celebration, because it's your first dating anniversary. Yeah, they'll do that kind of thing. Make a big deal, and they'll read you a poem because, I'm such a good guy. I write poems, which I really, half the poem is copied from somewhere else. But anyway, I will read you a poem. I'll show you how much I'm a good guy. I'm a dedicated guy. These people who are here as our guests must know I'm a good guy. I'm a good boyfriend to you. That's the thing. And that is hard to separate. You can't see you see the action, it's of a good boyfriend, but you don't know that inside they're thinking, see everybody, I'm a good boyfriend. When they're opening the door for you outside the car, all the things his idol worshippers admire, they don't know that at home he doesn't open anything for you unless you ask. They see the car door and they're thinking, oh, what a good gentleman. A gentleman wants his lady to rest. A gentleman is happy when his lady is happy. Do they ever? I'm not even going to talk to them anymore, so I won't ask if they ever heard him say, I'm so happy my wife is getting a rest. Yeah. My last point was an experience I had where they don't want you to be happy. It just illustrates it. But I didn't get it because I didn't know. I didn't know that there could be anyone on earth who doesn't want you to be happy when they're married to you. And that's the sad thing. Because you are in your heart a good, loving, humble, genuine, sincere person. You might be growing into that person, but you're growing into them. Like, it took me a while to get there. But because you, in your core, are good, honest, loving, you mean what you say, you can't picture any other reality. But it's there. So when they don't organize things that will make you happy, be aware of that. When they know they've caught you, watch how things subtly change. When they give you gifts they like, not gifts they would know you like, because they don't know what you like. You might even say it, they're not hearing you. Be careful of that. I've mentioned it before, so I won't go dwell on that again. But they don't want you to be happy. And they definitely don't want you to be happy with someone else. My children, my oldest two, picked up how people used him, obviously, to help plan a baby shower, a surprise baby shower. But he wasn't there, guys. The other fathers were with the little children watching there. They would come in and tell me congratulations while us women were inside. The fathers interacted with each other. The fathers interacted with their children. And you would expect, because it was eating. Why isn't he there with me eating? We were just sitting. We didn't do anything extreme. We were just sitting, eating, having conversations, getting to know each other. But the husband, my husband, was not there. The entire baby shower, he wasn't there. And my children picked that up. Why isn't he celebrating with his wife? Those are his twins. They had a beautiful banner, something like Twin Girls. I can't remember what the banner said. Why isn't he there? Why isn't he taking photos? I didn't even realize that part until now. The photos I have are from other guests, not from my husband. So my oldest two last year, after I sat them down and asked Eliora, in 2024, you said that you have hope in marriage because we're happily married. I didn't say anything then, but sit down and think. Look at what dad does and doesn't do. Analyze your day-to-day life and what you've seen. And then tell me if you think I'm happy. That's what I asked. I didn't even give one example of what I mean. But she picked it up and my son picked it up. And they said, the day of your baby shower, what stood out for us is that dad was somewhere in the corner talking to one woman. Why was he monopolizing that poor woman? Didn't she want to be inside with you? Why was he talking to that one woman instead of being inside with you? Why wasn't he with the other daddies who were taking care, dads who were taking care of the children? Why? They don't take pictures because they don't want to see you happy with other people. That is sad. That is sick. That is evil. That is miserable and pathetic. Okay? So, the last example, as I said, it's and one I've already quoted many times, but it shows it. He preached what we studied in our books. Go out into nature on Sabbaths. Have the children out in the sunshine. Every Sabbath afternoon, the children are meant to be out in nature with their parents, not stuck in a church building, but we won't go there, Adventist church. But that's what she said. Afternoons, children must be with their parents out in nature. So we did that. And he taught it at church. He wasn't an elder. He was a head elder. He was an head elder. Took a break, head elder. And he said to the church, we should do the same. We would go out Sabbath afternoons with our church into nature. It was lovely. We had so much fun. He taught this, people. But when I went with my best friend during COVID time, and we were now opening the nature places only, his response when I came back with such a glow, I'd been away from the children. I love my children, but I'm with them 24/7. No holiday, no sick leave. It gets very tiring. And a man who loves you will see it without you even having to mention it. And if you mention it, they will fix it. They will tell you, you go away for 3 days. I will take care of the kiddies. You deserve even more. You know, that. But anyway, so I got a break. I got to be with an adult who loves God's word. He loves to teach it, but not to study it with me or the children. And his reply when I came back, all excited about what we'd done. Oh, so do you feel holier now? Talk about deflating a balloon. And you're a Christian. Why are you talking like the devil? Why are you even asking that kind of question? And as someone who taught his church to do the same, why did you teach it then if you're going to mock it? He mocked it because I was happy with someone else. And when she comes to visit me, he always interrupts our conversation. Always. That's how it will be. If you're not able to relax, you have to get up and start being busy because he walked in. You won't be able to relax with your friend because he doesn't want you to focus on someone else. Poor souls. Me. That is sad. Don't marry him. Don't marry her. Bye. Now this really is the last video on this topic.